Welcome. As we prepare for the integration of the techniques of indifference, the technique of the presence, and the technique of light, let us review the stages of the technique of the presence. Orientation. We reflect in the light of the present world crisis, and each in the light of our own soul personality problem. We recognize that advanced humanity stands as the dweller on the very threshold of divinity. The angel stands expectant, absorbed in the presence, yet ready to absorb the dweller. Humanity has advanced in consciousness to the very boundaries of the world of spiritual values and the kingdom of light and of God. The angel has come to earth in expectation of recognition, an event of which the advent of Christ 2,000 years ago was the symbol and the precursor. This is the situation where all advanced aspirants are concerned. It can be ours. It is the situation also where humanity as a whole is concerned, and the approaching hierarchy. The consciousness of humanity from the higher and spiritual standpoint functions today through the steadily growing band of world servers, world aspirants, and world disciples, and their name is Legion. Humanity today is the dweller, whilst the hierarchy of souls is the angel, and behind stands the presence of divinity itself, intuited by the hierarchy and dimly sensed by humanity, but providing in this manner that threefold synthesis which is divine manifestation in form. Alignment. We evoke the stage of tension as basic and essential. It is a tension brought about by complete control of the personal self, so that it is fitted for contact with the real. We achieve a state of fusion with the soul, or with the angel, which guards the approach to the path of the higher evolution. We hold the mind steady in the light of the soul, which remains the attitude of the lower self for the entire remaining period of work, held at the point of tension by the soul and not by any effort of the personality. The soul undertakes this holding when the personal self has done its utmost to achieve the desired tension, ready to proceed with a formula for a more advanced meditation attitude, not form. We achieve a definite and sustained effort to sense the presence throughout the universe, in all forms and in all presentations of truth. It is the effort primarily to see in the light which the angel radiates, the point of light behind all phenomenal appearances. Then, having sensed the presence, not theoretically, but in vibrating response to its existence, we approach the stage of the ascertaining of the purpose. We are concerned with the effort to achieve an understanding of that which, through the medium of form, is seeking to embody the high purpose at this particular point in the evolutionary cycle. Most importantly, as we eventually hope to express our intuitive flashes. This way is revealed to us as disciples, even though it may not concern the intuitive message which we may bring back from our high adventure. Now, we will follow the stage, the sixth, from imaginative receptivity and discovery to the focus on the lights, higher interlude. The disciple carries some world problem, some design which the disciple's mind has evolved or heart desired for the helping of humanity into what is esoterically called the triple light of the intuition. This light is formed by the blending of 1, 2, 3, the light of the personal self focused in the mind. The light of the soul focused in the angel. And the universal light which the presence emits. Silence. We ponder for 5 minutes. I set the timer. This, when done with facility through concentration and long practice, produces two results. The first result, there will suddenly dawn upon the disciple's waiting mind, which still remains the agent of reception, the answer to their problem, the clue to what is needed to bring relief to humanity, the information desired, which when applied will unlock some door in the realm of science, psychology, or religion. This door, when opened, will bring relief or release to many. As before, Master Dwalkul has told us, the intuition is never concerned with individual problems or inquiries, as so many self-centered aspirants think. It is purely impersonal and only applicable to humanity in the synthetic sense. In the stages prior to the third initiation, this intruding agent of light provides a direction, an inner template, as a demonstration of a reasoning capacity to pursue action with absolute purity of intention, leading to an authentic, soul-guided response based on the principle of directed purpose, actuated in the three subtle ray embodiments: the life, monadic spark; quality, soul light; and appearance, personality expression of the aspirant. Inspiring studies, soul-focused activities, as in-person meetings and dialogues, meditation projects, dedication to group efforts to lift the veils of humanity, to reveal soul consciousness and the path of light. The result, the multiplicity of groups and teachers described by Master DK, now responding to world need, aligning all the ray types across all esoteric spiritual groups, institutions, and nations. Lower interlude. The intruding agent of light, as the old commentary calls these adventuring intuitives, is recognized as one to whom can be entrusted some revelation, some new impartation of truth, some significant expansion from a seed of truth already given to the race. The disciple then sees a vision, hears a voice, registers a message, or highest form of all, and becomes a channel of power and light to the world, a conscious embodiment of divinity, or a custodian of a divine principle. These forms constitute true revelation, imparted or embodied. They are still rare, but will increasingly be developed in humanity. We, each in our own experience, may be able to identify those formulated ideas that are intuited by disciples and aspirants from the higher divine ideas on the Buddhic plane that evoke thought forms of solution, being implemented almost simultaneously throughout the world. These align across language, culture, orientation to a particular philosophy, and are discovered as the telepathic rapport develops and the great web of the triangles of light grows and expands. So let it be, and help us to do our part in alignment with the one world serving group. We endeavor to connect and unify telepathically with these groups. Our goal in using and integrating the technique of the presence, we seek to learn a new rhythm, to enter a new field of experience, and to follow the steps of that advanced humanity who have trodden ahead of us on the path, leading from darkness to light, from the unreal to the real. We have tasted the joys of life in the world of illusion, and have learned their powerlessness to satisfy and hold us. Now, we are in a state of transition between the new and the old states of being. We are vibrating between the condition of soul awareness and form awareness. We are seeing double. Our spiritual perception grows slowly and surely as the brain becomes capable of illumination from the soul via the mind. As the intuition develops, the radius of awareness grows, and new fields of knowledge unfold. Affirmation is part of the one world serving group. The souls of all are one, and we are one with them. We seek to love, not hate. We seek to serve and not exact due service. We seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form, and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate, and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love. By means of the technique of the presence, the soul assumes control of the integrated personality and of its relations, horizontal and vertical. This technique involves the unfolding of the flower of the intuition, dispelling illusion, revealing the angel, indicating the presence, and opening up to the disciple the world of ideas and the door of the higher initiations. Through the disciple's grasp and application of these divine ideas or seed thoughts, the disciple becomes an initiate, and the third initiation becomes possible as an immediate goal. The intuition is the applied power of transfiguration. This technique is related to the little-known yoga called Agni Yoga, or the yoga of fire. We are points of light within a greater light. We are strands of loving energy within the stream of love divine. We are points of sacrificial fire, focused within the fiery will of God. And thus we stand. We are a way by which humanity may achieve. We are a source of strength, enabling them to stand. We are beams of light, shining upon their way. And thus we stand. And standing thus, revolve and tread this way the ways of humanity, and know the ways of God. And thus we stand. We proceed, holding as we move forward that focused, immovable will in the light of the soul, integrating the technique of light and the technique of indifference into our experience of the presence as the registered life quality and appearance throughout the universe. Concerned with our effort to achieve an understanding of that which through the medium of form is seeking to embody the high purpose at this particular point in the evolutionary cycle. Let us remember Master DK's teachings anent the three techniques. Stage by stage, each person progresses from one state of illusion or glamour to another, from one point of discriminative opportunity to another, until they have developed three major capacities. The capacity to handle force, devitalizing Maya. The capacity to tread the middle way between the pairs of opposites, dissipating glamour. The capacity to use the intuition, dispelling illusion. You must bear in mind that none of these three stages, achieving indifference, dissipation of glamour, dispelling of illusion, the technique of indifference, of light, of the presence, none of these three stages are in reality divided off from each other by clear lines of demarcation, nor do they follow each other in a clear sequence. They proceed with much overlapping and often with partial simultaneity. It is only when the disciple faces certain initiations that they awaken to the fact of these distinctions. we gather our forces and proceed in our preparation for the dissipation of glamour, with a brief sounding of the soul qualities that are being tapped and radiated into the group field as we integrate the techniques. We may recognize the quality of our own ray makeup. We may listen and recognize the quality of another group member. We may sense the vibratory resonance in the fields of our group service. Strength, courage, steadfastness, truthfulness arising from absolute fearlessness, power of ruling, capacity for large-mindedness, calm, serene temper, patience, endurance, strength, love of truth, faithfulness, intuition, clear intelligence. Wide views on all abstract questions, sincerity of purpose, clear intellect, capacity for concentration on philosophic studies, patience, caution, absence of the tendency to worry over trifles, strong affections, sympathy, physical courage, generosity, devotion, quickness of intellect and perception, strictly accurate statements, justice without mercy, perseverance, common sense, keen intellect, uprightness, independence, devotion, single-mindedness, love, tenderness, intuition, loyalty, reverence, strength, perseverance, self-reliance, courage, courtesy, extreme care in details. And those qualities that we are developing as a group in our service groups: wisdom, compassion, tolerance, identification with others, group love, sacrifice, service, patience, sympathy, humility. How can we radiate these group qualities, these virtues, as a group, a unified conscious soul, using the technique of light, the technique of indifference, and the technique of the presence? By means of the technique of light, the illumined mind assumes control over the astral or emotional body and dissipates glamour. When light pours in, glamour fades out. Illumination dominates and the vision of reality can be seen. It produces ability to tread the path of discipleship and enables the man to live a life enlightened by divinity. Illumination is the applied power of transformation. As a soul, I work in light, and darkness cannot touch me. I take my stand within the light. I work, and from that point, I never move. Before we begin, let us align as soul and as a group and see our group approaching Master DK's study. To develop our group focus in dissipating glamour, we use the creative imagination, controlled by the mind, transmitting an image from the abstract mind into the astral field, facing the group members as if eye to eye, and establishing a soul-to-soul connection. In silence, we withdraw from personal and world affairs and center on the work to be done, setting up a magnetic field of positive, receptive activity. Silence. Our aim is to embody spiritual discernment, practice positive harmlessness, and eventually achieve a state of divine indifference as we dispel illusion, dissipate glamours, devitalize Maya in all our relationships. We radiate the qualities, the virtues of the group as one unified soul consciousness. As we follow the technique of light, activating the technique of indifference and aligning with the presence. We say together, more radiant than the sun, purer than the snow, subtler than the ether is the self, the spirit within my heart. I am that self am I. I am the soul as if one soul. I am light divine, as if the embodiment of light divine. I am love, as if one loving expression. I am will, as if the will of the soul. I am fixed design, as if the unified design for the fulfillment of the purpose. We align and orient to the subjective livingness of the ashram. Linking heart, head, and ajna centers. Find the spark of monadic life hidden within the center of your being. Allow this point, that which you perceive as the presence, to permeate your entire being. Aligned with the soul of all, draw down soul radiance into the egoic lotus, the soul vehicle, the vessel of the soul in incarnation. Silence. Receive from the ashram. We align as receptive vessels of soul consciousness to receive impressions from the ashrams of the masters, knowing. We enter into the aura of the hierarchy, touching the Buddhic plane as one. On the periphery of the ashram, in quiet confidence and with right attitude, and the security that we are united as soul and embody soul qualities in expression. We dare. Bring the soul qualities forward in your mind and send those on a beam of light into the divine circulatory flow from your being, projecting into the group heart and then to the ashram. Together, let us hear the note of the soul. Visualize the light of the soul, the light of mind, and the light of matter, the brain, merged and blended, recognizing feeling the intent of the soul. From that high point of soul focus, and using the triple light, we merge and blend. First, our individual lights, and then see the individual lights merging and blending into one group center. And we see those joining us from the other side of the veil. And the light of the senior disciples and initiates serving to dissipate glamour, bringing their light as this triple light, group light. Then, as the group soul, the realized unity of the souls of all the group members becomes the great searchlight, growing, expanding, realized into a state of becoming the one great light, quiescent and not yet radiating out. Silence. As the greater group that has formed and is forming, becoming the channel for the dissipation of glamour and dispelling of illusion, using the sign of the cross of divinity, we sound the protective formula as one with the greater group. As the soul, we work in light. Touch the forehead. And darkness cannot touch us. Center of the chest. We take our stand within the light. Left eye, manas. We work, and from that point, we never move. The right eye, buddhi. Maintaining a focused, immovable will as the point of tension. The identification of the brain, mind, and soul with the will aspect, and the preservation of that identification, unchanged and immovable in all circumstances and difficulties. Knowing that the will aspect is contacted only from the mental plane, and only those therefore who are working with and through the mind can begin to appropriate this energy. Let us invoke the three aspects of the will. The dynamic will, expressed by first-rate egos, souls. The inclusive radiatory will of second-rate souls. The magnetic will of the third-rate ego, the soul which draws, attracts, manipulates, and arranges in accordance with divine purpose. Not the same kind of magnetism as that of love. Aligned with the soul, and the abstract mind and spiritual discernment, we call forth the will along the 7 lines of energy. The will to initiate, the will to unify, the will to evolve, the will to harmonize, the will to act, the will to cause, the will to express. Affirming as we sound the mantra together. In the center of the will of God we stand. Naught shall deflect our will from God's will. We implement that will by love. We turn towards the field of service. As the triangle divine, we work out that will within the square and serve humanity. Let us pause to consider our focus today. The effects of the glamour of interference with individual and group freedom, as this glamour is affecting nations and humanity globally at this time. Identify those instances where it can be seen that the stronger selfish actors, groups, nations, collectives, seek to deprive the weaker of their national assets and means of subsistence, and wresting from them by force and fear their deepest possessions, liberty of life and conscience. Silence. Merging the light of matter and the light of mind with soul light, we create a great searchlight, ready to direct this light onto the astral plane. We pause as we attempt to throw behind the searchlight our unified, directed, and dynamic will or intent along the projected beam of light. The destructive quality of the spiritual will, destructive to all that hinders the manifestation of divinity. Having attained a united point of tension, and having dedicated both the individual will and the group will to the will of God, we bring the directed purpose of the presence into the light. This act of will, carried on by each member of the group silently and with a deep realization that all of us are thus accepted, and that it is the group will which is being silently focused. Now we say together, with power upon its beam, the light is focused on the goal. Silence. Now we say in unison, the light is one, and in that light shall we see light. This is the light that turns the darkness into day. Sounding the Om as the group soul on its own plane, sounded forth by the group soul, the realized unity of the souls of all the group members. Sounding the Om as the soul on the mental plane. Sounding the Om as the soul on the astral plane, the soul ready to function as light bearer and distributor of light upon the astral plane. Now, merging into the group presence with those joining subjectively and via our matrices of enlightened service activities, our current service groups and triangles of light in the heart, mind, heart in the head, we sound the mantra of light. Radiance we are, and power. We stand forever with our hands stretched out, linking the heavens and the earth, the inner world of meaning and the subtle world of glamour. We reach into the light and bring it down to meet the need. We reach into the silent place and bring from thence the gift of understanding. Thus with the light we work and turn the darkness into day. The act of projection. We utter the words of power, which, again naming the particular glamour under the sign of Sagittarius, which is the subject of attention, and thus bringing it consciously into relation with the focused light, we begin the task of dissipation. The power of our united light prevents the appearance of the glamour of interference with individual and group freedom. The power of our united light negates the quality of interference with individual and group freedom from affecting humanity. The power of our united light destroys the life behind interference with individual and group freedom. These words are an active affirmation and gain strength from the experience of the aspirant and from our familiarity and regular use. The act of penetration. We visualize the gradual dissipation and dispersal of the glamour by the penetration of the light into its darkness. We endeavor to see the glamour disintegrating and the reality emerging, doing this by an effort of the creative imagination. Each of us does this in our own way and according to our own understanding and capacity. 5 minutes of silence as we work, as the dissipation continues. Now, we withdraw our consciousness from the astral plane, and then the mental plane, to the soul, signifying the work is completed. We sound the Om in group formation, and then, to emphasize that the group work is ended, on behalf of the group, I sound the Om and I say, Om. So let it be, and help us in our group life to end all glamour and untruth. Using the technique of light, we create the capacity for the illumined mind to assume control over the astral or emotional body and dissipate glamour. When light pours in, glamour fades out. Illumination dominates, and the vision of reality can be seen, producing ability to tread the path of discipleship and enabling us to live a life enlightened by divinity. Illumination is the applied power of transformation. Holding the mind steady in the light of the soul with complete impersonality. Using the creative imagination to hold a vision of your being illumined, transformed, the groups with which you are working and affiliated, transformed, the nations, transformed, the world, transformed. We silently connect into the great web of light, illuminating the jewel in the lotus, the central vessel of the presence, in the crown of the group, sounding Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum. We recognize our relationship to the One. We recognize our service in unity with the One. For God is the One who can withdraw, and in withdrawing, dispel, dissipate, and devitalize all that has been created, using those words in their fullest significance. On the wings of the angel of the presence, using the triple light of the great searchlight, we rise on this beam to draw into our vessels the radiant, directed, and focused light that guides us into the presence and identification as being. Thus we become part of the inaugurating vessels entering this era of light, developing a free control of the astral plane with its quality of freedom from illusion and glamour. This freedom will be brought about when right observation takes the place of the disturbed vision of the present, and glamour will be dissipated through the right direction of the light of the soul, through the plane of illusion. The Aquarian age will be predominantly the age of synthesis and light. Right illumination, which is another name or aspect of right direction, will take the place of glamour, and the objective personally considered of the group of disciples utilizing the technique of the trained observers is to bring light into dark places and illumination into their lives. The act of abstraction produces the dispelling of the illusory world of thought, the withdrawal of the divine attention dissipates the sentient universe and brings glamour to an end. The cessation of divine direction brings death to the physical world, which is the world of illusion. All these activities are evidences of the will, or of the first aspect, the will to good, which can and will function in perfection only when good will is finally and fully developed on earth through the agency of humanity. The will and the breath are occultly synonymous terms. In this statement, you have the clue to the ending of Maya. It is necessary to point out analogies and to link together the various aspects of related teaching if true perception is to be developed. From the soul vessel of the united group, we breathe the will of the soul into the lower bodies and achieve a degree of divine indifference, indifference to the world of Maya on the etheric physical plane under the law of abstraction. Equipped with these powers, the power of transmission, the power of illumination, and the power of intuition, The initiate becomes aware of the two great and apparently opposing entities, with both of whom finding the self consciously identified. The angel of the presence and the dweller on the threshold. Behind the angel of the presence, dimly sensed, not another duality, but a great identity, a living unity, which, for lack of a better word, we call the presence. Having sensed this great identity, a living unity, which we call the presence, then it is discovered that the way out, in this case, is that this dweller and this angel must be brought together. The lower entity must be blotted out in the light, or forced to disappear within the radiance. This is the task of the higher of the two entities, with which the disciple or the initiate consciously and deliberately identifies the self. This is the problem which faces the initiate before taking the final 3 initiations. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th compulsory initiations on this planet. We together create a potent visualization demonstrating the condition of indifference to the forces of the lower 18 subplanes, and the use of the illumined group mind to receive the pure ideas that are transmitted through the soul as beams of light. The intuition that is developing ideas as thought forms of solution, beginning to be made available to us from the rain cloud of knowable things. Pause and envision the purification of the lower 18 subplanes and the emergence of humanity from identification with the dweller on the threshold to soul life and identification as the angel of the presence. On the etheric physical plane, Maya is devitalized. Control is achieved by the directing power of light energy. On the astral plane, glamours are dissipated. Control is achieved by the dissipating potency of distributed light. On the lower mental plane, illusions are dispelled. Control is achieved by dispelling through focused light. On the higher mental plane, we find spiritual discernment, response to group vibration, spiritual telepathy. Using the creative imagination, hold a vision of your being, inspired as the transmitting agent of the soul. The groups with which you are working and affiliated as transmitting the radiance of the soul. The nations transformed as cooperative entities, as agents of the plan for humanity. The world evolving in alignment with the plan as the hierarchy is externalized. Even the neophyte, upon the way of the intuition, can begin to develop in the self the power to recognize that which the lower mind cannot give him or her. Some thought of revealing potency to be used for the helping of the many may drop into the mind. Some new light upon an old truth may penetrate, realizing the truth from the trammels, releasing the truth from the trammels of orthodoxy, thus illumining his consciousness. This the neophyte must use for all, and not for the self alone. Little by little, the neophyte learns the way into the world of the intuition. Day by day, and year by year, the neophyte becomes more sensitive to divine ideas and more apt in appropriating them wisely for the use of humanity. We are united with the one world serving group. Let us sound the mantra of the new group of world servers. May the power of the one life pour through the group of all true servers. May the love of the one soul characterize the lives of all who seek to aid the great ones. May we fulfill our part in the one work through self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech.